Steve and Jill here.
Hi.
Welcome to the House Academy Show, entertaining real estate investment talk. I'm Steven Jack Butala.
And I'm Jill DeWit, broadcasting from sunny Southern California.
Today, Jill and I talk about, will we see a 25 to 40% house devaluation in these virus times? Heck yes. In fact, it's going to be deeper than that.
I would put money on that.
Me too. Before we get into it, let's take a question posted by one of our members on the houseacademy.com online community. It's free.
Brandy wrote, I'm watching the prices of new houses listed go down in the Cleveland area on Realtor. When exactly should I send a mailer out to make sure resales will work? Like I can make money on the flip.
Well, that is the question. You know what? That's what this show is about. So that's the question. The answer lies in looking at graphical data about exactly what happened in 2010. And it was from about 2007, 2008 to about 2011-ish. There was one of the worst real estate, if not the worst, real estate recessions, depressions in the history of our country. And so while that was tragic at the time and it cut both of us to our knees financially, I knew at the time when we were going through it that this was going to happen again, and I knew how to prepare for it. And that's my goal here. My goal is let's take a look at the data from 2010-ish. Let's apply it to what's happening now and look at some of the variables and the differences and make some money out. And so it becomes, this is the topic of the show, so we should just start it.
I agree.
Will we see a 20 to 40% house devaluation in virus times? Yes. This is why you're listening. Apply that data and that experience to what's happening now so you can maximize value for yourself as an investor.
You know what's interesting? What happened to us then, though, wasn't worldwide. It was countrywide. So I think it's going to be even more clear and more substantial than it was then. So, and I think, not to I just want to state for me and people who think like me, what I'm hearing you say is, look at what happened back then. How many was it? After 30 days, this happens, 33 months, this happened. And in, 6 months, this happened. Is that basically what you're saying? Look at that experience and apply that to right now?
Basically, yeah, okay, that's a one-on-one version. Okay. Yeah, absolutely, Joe, you're right. I mean, there's a gap of time where property, the economists like to call it a market correction, which cracks me up. It's a landslide. It's a crash is what it is.
Right.
But this crash seems to happen every 10 or 15 years. And it's going to happen 10 or 15 years from now. Here's the difference between last time and this time. This time, real estate didn't cause this. Last time, the real estate bubble caused it. And it was fueled by really bad loans that weren't in the best interest of the borrower. They were very much in the best interest of the lender. So I don't know how they won. Nobody won. They were into the best interest of the person who was sitting at the kitchen table, writing the loan, laughing to himself while they're getting the homeowner to sign it. But that's a different story. So there's a lot of differences about cause and effect that are going to create variables, but the same basic thing. What Jill said was exactly the same basic thing. You can see what happened back then. It's going to happen again. It might be more severe in certain areas. It might be less severe. There's a bunch of variables. This one's worldwide, and it was caused by a healthcare issue or a media event, however you want to look at it. That one was caused by real estate, and it caused the banks to fail. So the great news is that we know what's going to happen,
right,
to some version of it. And it's going to happen 10 or 15 years from now. Here's the thing that just wakes me up smiling every day. And I don't want to seem insensitive here because this is a real healthcare issue. What makes me happy about the real estate part of what we're talking about is that we have the internet. So all this data from the last time is at our fingertips for free. Just have to know where to go get it. And all the data the next time, which will definitely be in our working lifetime. But now we're going to have two full-blown data-driven examples and all the data to back it up to tell us what's going to happen next time. This is not like Let's go see what's going to happen.
Right. And there's no guessing.
There's no guessing here.
We have two, like you said, two examples, not just one, two.
Last week on Thursday, every Thursday we have the webinar calls for our members. And last week on the House Academy webinar, I explained all this in a tremendous amount of detail, where to get the data, how to do it, how to test it. Because in every single market, here's my whole point. In every single market, there's 2 or 3 or 4 zip codes that see dramatic declines. And last time for us in Phoenix, it was 90%. It was 80 and 90% off. We were buying houses and reselling them immediately. So my point is, I know exactly, and I'm happy to share it with everyone. I did last week, how to identify these markets, how to get the data to back up your theory that this little zip code area is the one that it's going to happen to, and how to price it.
I was going to add that. So thank you for saying that. So yeah, now we all know what's going to happen. So before you lock on Cleveland, like Steven was just saying, what you should be doing right now is trying to anticipate, or not even just anticipate, watch it happening, watch it unfolding in certain areas. For example, California, traditionally not a great place, obviously. Texas.
What does that mean? Not a great place?
Oh, as far as the percentages, here's what I want you to think about. I want you to be buying those assets that are 40% below, their prices pre-virus, that kind of a thing. Because then you can mark it up and do very well. It's not so much fun in a Southern California 20% market. You could still make money here, but I'd rather you go in hotter and hit an area that you're going to make more money. Maybe Texas. Maybe I could see, there are trends to certain areas. Probably downtown New York doesn't drop so much like downtown Dallas or down Phoenix. I'm actually was reading some articles today about the Phoenix area and things that they're trying to do because they were just building it back up. There's a whole article today I was reading about the how Phoenix downtown was like a ghost town 10 years ago, and they've spent the 10 years building it up, and there's new condos being built and live event venues, all kinds of great things coming. And man, now the virus hit. They're like, doggone it, how are we going to keep the momentum? And they were coming up with some actually good, unique ways with to do like visual displays, not kidding, at events that are safe and would bring people back. It's kind of an interesting spin on it. But do you understand where so that's what I want you to do, Brandy. Spend your time, like Steven said, studying what happened last time, and then also start really thinking about and get out of your head. Don't think because I live in Cleveland, this is going to be the best area. It might not. You might be doing it, in somewhere in the South. You might be doing it somewhere out West. Who knows?
I disagree with everything she just said.
Really?
I think in every single MSA, I don't think this, I know this from a data and statistical standpoint, every MSA, Cleveland included, Los Angeles included.
Well, you will make money.
There is, if you look at just the data and you compare house sale prices between 2010 and 2019, there are some zip codes that are going to rise absolutely to the top as candidates for purchasing. Candidates for what I would call elasticity. Okay. And so houses, unlike land, pricing elasticity means for a property that in 2019 sold for $200,000, it was listed in 2010 for $22,000. So that zip code, that there are zip codes that are that elastic, and some zip codes are more elastic than others. But in every MSA, it happens. Here's the thing with houses. It's very, very difficult to buy houses, in my opinion, 6 states away without local representation.
Oh, I mean with local representation.
So while you could go to Phoenix or you could go to Los Angeles from Cleveland, right, and not go there, but you could do deals there like we do with land. It's very easy to do a land deal 3 states over. It's tougher. What I'm saying I want you to do is this, listeners, if you're into this. Analyze the heck out of the MSA that you're in. And if you do it the way that I show how you do it with a theory about certain areas and then supporting the theory with data from 2010, this is unprecedented. You can't do this. Because there was no data for this the last few times or at least the data that's accessible to people like us. You're going to find 2 or 3 or 4 zip codes that are just history repeats itself, and it's truly amazing. One of the areas in Los Angeles is Compton. Compton properties, I'm already watching them. Compton is not, you see stuff on the news in Compton, and there's this one little block in Compton that makes it look terrible. Compton's not, is a very livable, normal people live there. So it's not like the Rust Belt in Detroit where normal people don't live in these neighborhoods. And the inelasticity in some of these Rust Belt areas like Detroit and Flint and some areas in Illinois, Indiana, and Ohio have never recovered. So they're not elastic. They were always bad. And it just never, so you want to stay completely out of these areas.
But what if that's your MSA?
If Detroit is your MSA,
That's what I'm saying.
there are the MSA in Detroit doesn't just include the city of Detroit. It includes there's 4 counties in the MSA in Detroit, and you will find a market with elasticity.
4 zips?
Went up and down. Yeah,
4 zips. Okay. Yeah, I was like 1 county, 4 zips.
it's not going to be a county. It's going to be 3 or 4, and they're usually adjacent zip
Right.
codes.
Right.
Actually, I know exactly where they are in Detroit.
This
too,
is
so-
me exercising patience. I will not throw him under the bus and say I totally disagree.
No,
So-
why?
Well, because you just said that.
If you want to disagree.
No, I don't. No, but we're.
I mean, inner city, Rust Belt, non-recovering areas.
well, then
You don't
you're
want to confuse low prices with elasticity. That's my point.
okay. What did you say? Low.
This is complicated. Hold
low
on a second,
prices?
Jill. Hold on.
Okay.
This is complicated. It's going to take hours and hours and hours and weeks of research in your MSA
Well, I
to
said
find out
that.
to find out
Okay.
which 2 or 3 or 4 zip codes are the places that had dramatic price declines in 2010. Those are the places that, and then recovered. Those are the places that's where it's going to happen again.
Here's what I would argue with. I'm just saying I wouldn't stick around. You know what? I wouldn't stick around in my area because I can only drive that far. I wouldn't do deals only where I can drive them myself personally. If I had boots on the ground somewhere else where it's a hot market where they are really taking a dive.
I couldn't agree more.
That's my point. That was all I was trying to say.
You have to have local representation there.
Thank
that
you.
you
And I
trust.
totally agree. Well, that's you wouldn't do it. You can't do it any other way. Otherwise, you're getting on a plane and driving somewhere all the time, and that's stupid. That defeats the purpose.
So a lot of these people are brand new, Joe. They don't know.
I know.
It's not like land where it's like this all the time. Their elasticity in land is because you created it based on your offer campaign.
Right.
You can't, in good times, do a mail campaign, an offer campaign for houses for 10% of what property's worth. And let's say, I'm just making it up, Dallas, Texas, because you know somebody there who can do the deal for you. No one's going to sign the offer and send it back. You're just not. With land, you can do that. In these times now, you can do that if you really micro look at these zip codes.
Remember what we talked about on Tuesday? Patience. That was my number one. And this is me exercising patience.
Why? I didn't disagree with what you said.
Yeah, you
I
did.
agreed with every single
Oh,
thing.
no,
said.
you didn't. You said I absolutely disagree with that whole thing. And here's why.
You know what? It takes.
You said those words.
It takes some time to describe how this is going to work. How it
Patience.
works. And it's not a skip along the top topic.
And you know, my third thing on Tuesday was do what you want to do for you. And you know what? I'm doing this show for me. Not because I want to get anything out of this. I'm just kidding. I'm not going to get back. I'm teasing on that one.
No,
Okay.
I don't think you are at all.
Yeah, no, I didn't go how I liked it, but that's okay. Happy you could join us today. Every Tuesday and Thursday, we are right here on the House Academy Show. Mondays, Wednesdays, and Fridays, we are over on the Land Academy Show.
Tomorrow, the episode on the Land Academy Show is called The Jack and Jill Show is finally here. You are not alone in your real estate ambition. It's just technical, man.
I agree
It was
with
one of
that.
those technical things that
There
doesn't
could have been a little
humor-
nicer way to say it, or maybe ask questions.
There's always a nicer way to say
No.
everything.
How about ask questions? I don't think you were clear on what I was trying to say, and it would have been a good time to ask me a clarifying question to see what I meant.
I'm sure that's true too.
That would have solved it. Thank you very much.
It would have taken away from the actual data part of this, though. That's the real issue.
Okay. The House Academy Show remains commercial free for you, our loyal listener. Patience. So wherever you're watching, wherever you're listening, please have patience and subscribe and rate us there. We are Steven Jill.
Information
And patience.
to buy undervalued property.